Carina Bauer, CEO of the IMEX Group. Well, it's been going very well. We've had really good feedback from the exhibitors and the buyers, which is really what it's all about. We're standing here on the third afternoon, and I think people have had a very successful show. Obviously, the show this year, in terms of just general size, is bigger this year. It's the largest show in our history, which has been fantastic. I think there's a general mood in the aisles that there's a lot of business to be had. Of course, a part of that is the highly qualified buyers that we bring in, but a part of that also is what you see in the industry as a whole. A lot of research reports that the various industry associations are bringing out are all showing that meeting planners are forecasting more meetings in the coming 18 months and more delegates attending those meetings, and so that's clearly also having an impact in the feeling and in the sentiment that's here this week. I think there's always a buzz and an energy about IMEX. That's what we hear a lot, and that is because people sit down. It's a business-oriented show. It's very appointment-driven, and the buyers are very good. They come here with real business to place. They've done their research. They've done their homework. So you always get that energy at the show. But I think this year in particular, the feedback we're getting is that more than anything, more than ever, if you like, people really feel that energy and really have a very positive sentiment and have had a very positive few days as well. So we are always learning new things. Every show is different. We try and aim to innovate from the smallest things to the biggest things. So one of the things we did this year, we really felt that our hosted buyer program had got to such a scale that we really wanted to look at the comfort and the service level that buyers were getting. So one of the things that we've done is build an entirely new lounge for them. It's double the size of the host buyer lounge they had before. It's got a lot of new services in it. That's been really well received. I think they just feel a whole new comfort level. We also introduced a concierge service for hosted buyers, especially new hosted buyers. We called all of them up before they came on site to help them with that pre-show process, to answer questions. We did pre-show orientation tours for them, pre-show performance workshops for them. So all these little touches have been really well received. Another thing that has been a trend over the past few years is that obviously education is becoming more and more important for buyers in terms of coming to shows like ours. They do come primarily for the business, but they do need the education side as well to justify that time out of the office, and people do want to enhance their professional skills as well. So our education program has been expanded by about 20% this year, and one of the key things we've noticed over the past few years is the desire for both the buyers and also the speakers to do sessions on the show floor. They want fast sessions, anywhere from 20 to 45 minutes, and they want them on the show floor. We have new educational hubs this year, so people can really sort of dip in and out, if you like. They can do an appointment, go to a session, do an appointment, go to a networking reception, and that works really well. And we find if you look at our education program, there are very few sessions that are taking place off the show floor now, and the main ones tend to be the ones we do on the day before the show, Association Day or exclusively corporate, where we can really give those groups an in-depth view and insight into different topics and really strong peer-to-peer networking and learning, which you can't do on the show floor. The association and corporate markets are obviously very different. What we've seen over the past few years is that the association business has been relatively steady because, of course, associations do book their convention years out. They do rely very heavily on their conventions for their annual revenues often. And so the association market, although, of course, things were difficult, they were relatively steady over these past few years. Whereas you find when sort of there are economic problems or more challenging times is the corporates who obviously are in the position to cut things much more quickly. So we have noticed definitely this week and in the past year that it's the corporates really that have been becoming more optimistic optimistic. They still are quite constrained, I believe, on their budgets. I think that will start to change, but they are forecasting that they're going to be doing more meetings, and they're really looking for innovative new ideas. One of the sessions we had that was really well attended on Exclusively Corporate on Monday was Charlie Heavey. She is one of the events manager at Innocent Drinks, and she was talking about how you do massive events on a small budget, and of course their events are very innovative, and so I think that's really what the corporates are looking for. They need innovation, they need the new ideas, and they are doing more, but the budgets aren't necessarily massive yet. So I think that's a challenge for the industry to respond to. I think over the past few years as well, though, one of the challenges that the industry has very much been trying to step up to is trying to really explain to those decision makers in the corporates, the CEOs, rather than seeing the meeting or the incentive travel program as a bottom line cost, understanding why the meeting and why that incentive travel program is actually a benefit to their business. It's actually going to boost their profits because their clients will be more motivated, their sales managers will be more motivated, their team will understand and learn. So I think that's really important. I think the industry understands that that's really important now. I think they've done a lot over the past few years because we've had to, and I think our challenge now is, as things start to get a bit better, that we don't get complacent and we don't stop that activity and that action to really explain the worth of what we do. It's not just about the logistics, it's about the outcomes of those meetings. It is the largest show that we've had to date, and I think one of the really interesting things is that almost a third of our returning exhibitors have increased their stand to some capacity, and we've also got 64 new stands here, and it's a really great variety. You've got Rwanda here from Africa, you've got Bulgaria from Eastern Europe, you've got Peru that's made a comeback, Hong Kong. So you're seeing from all corners of the world these new destinations coming in. Some are relatively established, some are very new to the MICE industry. And then on the private sector as well, you're seeing quite a lot of buoyancy. Technology area of our show just grows every single year. I think we've had 20% growth every year for the past 3 years in that technology area. And they're so busy, those stands now. 5 years ago, no one was visiting them. And now is one of the busiest areas of the show. So we've really seen that diversity expand. I think people have become very entrepreneurial. Sometimes when you go through challenging times, it forces people to be creative. I think that's what's happened. There are also a huge number of new stands here. So the exhibitors, you can really see them investing in their stands. A lot of them are quite sustainable now, which is a nice trend that's really coming through. And the other big thing we've noticed this year in particular is the resurgence of the number of exhibitor events and networking events that are taking place. The exhibitors, again, they really want to entertain the clients, be that on their stand or at breakfast or in the evenings. And so there's been so much activity here this week, and that helps us as well, because when we organise a show, we're organising it in partnership with the exhibitors. They're the ones in the end that create the beauty of the show, and they're the ones who are entertaining the buyers and creating that very special atmosphere.